I am back because we are trying to be consistent for the new year. And yeah, just to get right into the video, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about tips you can use to ace your graduate school interview. So the first tip I have is to drink plenty of water and meal prep before your interview. So I say drink plenty of water because you don't want your voice to sound dry and you don't want your voice to crack while you're interviewing. And I say to meal prep because sometimes you don't have time to run and get a snack or run and get food in between interview times, and you just want to make sure that you are full because you don't want to be hangry. That could completely compromise how your personality comes off to the interviewer and be a huge turnoff. My next tip kind of goes hand in hand with drinking water and eating plenty of food, but you want to be awake and engaged during your interview. You do not want to sound like you woke up 5 minutes ago, and you want to make sure that you're being attentive and you're communicating your passion about your research interest and attending that school. Sounding sort of lackadaisical and nonchalant can unintentionally communicate that you do not care about going to that school or doing research with that person, and that's the last thing you want to do in an interview. Now, having said that, you also want to make sure that you're being your authentic self. So if you're not the kind of person who bounces off the wall or you're not just excitable, you don't necessarily have to go into your interview that way. And the most important thing is that you're communicating your passion. So for example, I bounced off the walls. I was super excited during my interview day, but that's just kind of how I am on a day-to-day basis. Not everyone is like that. So overall, you just kind of want to be warm and welcoming, but it doesn't mean you have to act over the top and all of that to achieve those things. My third tip is to wear something that makes you feel confident and comfortable, but also keep it professional during interview day. I would err on the side of business formal to business casual unless they specifically state otherwise in your interview packet. And at the end of the day, looking good translates to feeling good, and you will be able to answer any of the questions that are thrown at you with confidence because you feel good at the end of the day. I don't know how common this is now because we're in pandemic times, but if you get invited to go to campus for an interview or just even have a campus visit, make sure you wear comfortable shoes. You do not want to sacrifice your comfort for heels and looking cute. You don't know if they're going to take you north, south, east, west, wherever on that campus, and you want to be prepared for any journey they may throw at you. So have sensible shoes if you're going to have to go somewhere in person. My fourth tip is that you need to do your research on yourself and on the people you're going to be interviewing with. So when I say on yourself, I mean just study up your CV, know about recent projects you've done or interesting findings you have come across in case someone asks you about those things. You can say it off the top of your head. And when I say you need to do your research on them, I mean hopefully you got a schedule of all of the people you're going to be interviewing with on interview day, and you want to go on Google and look them up so you can see what their research interests are, if they've published anything. Maybe read some of their publications so you can say, oh, I thought this finding from this paper was really interesting. Can you tell me more about it? Or can you tell me why you decided to ask this research question in the first place? Those are all things that are going to make your conversations much more fruitful because obviously people like talking about things that they find interesting, and you don't want to waste time asking questions that you can find the answers to on Google. So just make sure that you do plenty of research and that you're going into those conversations already knowing the basics about the person you're interviewing with. My fifth tip, which is probably the most important, like if you do not take away anything else from this video, please know this. You need to be honest with yourself and with the institution. So let's break this down. When you sent off your application, that was a one-way relationship. You were pursuing the school. Now they have contacted you and they are interested in you as well. So we're here now. It's a two-way relationship, and you guys are trying to see if you are a good fit for each other. This means that you need to be honest about what you bring to the table as a prospective graduate student, and you need to be honest about what kind of things you hope to get out of that institution. All right, my SD card literally got full while I was talking, but it's fine. As I was saying, the last thing you want to do is end up at an institution that is unprepared to support your goals as a graduate student and eventually as a graduate. So I'll use clinical psychology for an example. If your PI asks you what your end career goal is, if you want to do research, say you want to do research. If you want to do more clinical work, say you want to do more clinical work. If you literally have no idea what you want to do yet or which direction you want to go, be honest about that too. That way you end up at an institution that is equipped to support that. So for example, if your main interest is research, you don't want to go to a place that emphasizes clinical work instead of research, because at the end of the day, once you graduate, you're not going to be a competitive applicant if your program didn't drill in publications and research productivity. Let me also add that as a part of this two-way relationship where you are interviewing, you want to be prepared to answer questions, but you also want to be prepared to ask plenty of questions. Personally, for my interview day, I thought that I was going to be grilled during all of my 30-minute sessions, but it really looked more like, hey, tell me about your background and your research interests, and then they just open themselves up for me to ask them questions about their research or the program, so you want to be prepared for that. When asking questions to your PI, you kind of want to ask about the program structure, benchmarks, how they manage their students, what research they're currently working on, what research they hope to work on in the future, and just get an idea of where the lab is going and what the lab culture is like. Next, when you talk to their graduate students, you kind of want to verify what the PI has been saying. So you want to ask about the PI's mentorship style. You want to ask about what it's like to exist in that program as a graduate student. You can ask about the stipend and the cost of living in the area. You can ask about how they get to school. I had to ask about how they dealt with weather because I'm from Southern California and there are like hurricanes on the East Coast, so you just really want to get an idea of what it feels like to actually be there and exist there, whether they feel supported as graduate students, and all that fun stuff. My last tip, which probably feels very intuitive, but you want to practice. Personally, I got a little bit shy during my interview day, so I would talk to the mirror, but you can also go on YouTube and type in mock interview video where someone will act like they're interviewing you and asking you questions, and you can pause the video, answer the question, and keep going. And that's a really good way to practice too that I did. But you can also tap into your friends and family if you are less shy than I am, because then you can get real-time feedback. They could tell you if you need to slow your answers down, they could tell you if you need to speak louder or enunciate your words more, and that way you can make sure that you're communicating how you want to communicate during your actual interview day. So those are pretty much all of my tips and tricks for interviewing. So many of them feel intuitive, but once you're in an interview setting and you get nervous, it's so easy to forget all of these things. So hopefully this will help keep some of this stuff in the forefront of your mind, or at least help you prepare a little bit better so that you're less nervous walking into it. For my people who are getting ready to interview, good luck. For my applicants who are still waiting to hear back from an institution, good luck to you as well. But the main thing is to just stay calm. This is a very rigorous process, and you're just amazing for even getting to this point and pushing this far. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I will do my best to answer them, and if I can certainly find someone who will, whether that is a faculty member or a staff member, to get you the answers you need and to get you as prepared as possible before your interview. Good luck, stay calm, and I know it's hard, but try not to overthink it. I promise on the other side of things, we're not trying to like break people down or make them nervous or anything. We're just trying to learn about you. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe for more content. and I will see y'all next time. Bye. I looked at the original footage and I literally had an egg head, so here we are. My third There's something that makes you feel comfortable. What is comfortable? You wear something that makes you feel confident and what is happening? My third tip, oh my god.